clouded by the hype behind the Smash Switch reveal, another game was swept under the rug in the most recent Nintendo Direct. The remake of Mario & Luigi Bowser's Inside Story. To be completely honest, I thought Nintendo was going to be completely done with remaking Mario & Luigi games after the release of the Superstar Saga remake back in last October. This is because I thought the overall goal of remaking the Mario & Luigi games was so that fans could play every single one of them on the 3DS. Obviously, you could play the 3DS Mario & Luigi titles on that console, you could play the DS ones on there as well, however the Game Boy Advance one was inaccessible until the remake last year. Because of this, there was really no point to remake Bowser's Inside Story because you could already play it on the 3DS. Alas, the remake is happening and many fans are very excited about it because they love this game and want to experience it again, hopefully with many updates and improvements. But what's really interesting about the reveal of this remake is that Nintendo has remade the first Mario & Luigi game. This is the remake of the third Mario & Luigi game. What about the second? What about Partners in Time? In this video, I'm going to try to figure out the real reason why Nintendo rejected Mario & Luigi Partners in Time. Why did this game not get a remake, but number 1 and number 3 did? So when determining the answer to this question, there are two main factors that I'm going to be talking about today, and the first one is sales. As much as fans get hyped about the new Nintendo releases and whatnot, you have to keep in mind that this video game industry is built not on the enjoyment of the fans, but on sales. That's the cold hard reality of things. Game series that don't sell well get axed. They get cancelled. That's why Fire Emblem was at a risk of getting cancelled. That's why Chibi Robo has seemingly been cancelled. And for the Mario & Luigi series, there was no signs of stopping, but that was after Bowser's Inside Story. One of the big reasons why Nintendo was remaking that game rather than the second installment in this series is that Bowser's Inside Story sold almost 4 times the amount of units that Partners in Time did. Mario & Luigi Partners in Time sold an estimated 1.7 million units, whereas Bowser's Inside Story sold an estimated 4.5 million units. One of the big reasons why I think Nintendo announced the remake of Bowser's Inside Story so early, it's coming in 2019, not even this year, and they announced it in March. Nintendo doesn't normally do that, so I think the reason that they did this is to show that the 3DS is still going to have content coming in 2019, as to not halt the sales of the 3DS entirely. Nintendo hasn't completely given up on that console yet, however they're definitely switching focus. Pun absolutely intended. So this just gives the message to some fans that, hey, it's alright to buy a 3DS right now because there are still going to be some new games coming out for it. So if Nintendo really only had the possibility to remake one of the two games, which one do you think they're going to remake? The one with 1.7 million sales or the one with 4.5? It's a no-brainer. Nintendo probably wasn't going to spend all of the money and resources to remake both games because it's unnecessary. You could already play them on the 3DS, but Nintendo just wants to milk some more sales as much as possible, so they're choosing to remake this game, which has a lot of fans, hence the large amount of sales. But why is there this discrepancy in sales? Why does Bowser's Inside Story have 4 times the amount sold as Partners in Time? Well, that leads into the second reason why Nintendo rejected that game, and that is the quality. Not advertisements, not what the company wants to tell you. The real reason why somebody would buy a game, one of the most common occurrences is that somebody tells them that it's a good game. Hey, you should go pick this one up. And eventually they do, and they start to like the game and become a fan. And this has to be a huge factor in the success of Bowser's Inside Story, because it's regarded widely as the greatest Mario & Luigi game that has ever been created. Some even call it one of the greatest Mario RPGs ever created. And I have to agree with that. It's definitely a fantastic experience. Partners in Time, on the other hand, isn't held to the same standard by the fan base. they regard Partners in Time, some, as the worst Mario & Luigi game out there. Definitely one of the worst. Some still say that it's a good game, but it's nowhere near the quality of some of the other titles in the series, especially not Bowser's Inside Story. And of course, the quality of the game matters in respect to the sales. How likely is somebody going to recommend that you pick up this game that they didn't enjoy? Of course, when somebody buys a game, they make their opinion on it, whether or not they like it. And then they'll choose to tell people about that game based on how they feel about it. And in the case of Mario & Luigi Partners in Time, that obviously didn't help too much, because it's widely regarded as one of the worst in the series. Something to take into consideration with game remakes is that many people are apprehensive about buying them if they've already purchased the game once. And if somebody already bought Mario & Luigi Partners in Time, their opinion on that game probably isn't very good, meaning that they wouldn't give it a second purchase. But for Bowser's Inside Story, on the other hand, one that is held with praise. Many people love it. Some say it's their favorite Mario game of all time. Some, in that category, would probably purchase it a second time. Yes, Nintendo is obviously going for some new people with this game remake, hence them actually putting it out, and them sort of relying on that game to sell more 3DSs going into early 2019, when I presume that the Bowser's Inside Story remake would release. Not only are they expecting new people to buy it, but they're also sort of expecting some people who have already got the game to double dip on this one and purchase this game a second time to experience one of their favorite games again. Most remakes don't sell as well as their original counterparts, because if you're going to buy the game and you had heard about it when the game first came out, you're probably not going to buy it when it gets remade. Like in the Bowser's Minions section of the Mario & Luigi Superstar Saga remake, they are adding some new content to the Bowser's Inside Story remake, but that probably wouldn't be enough to entice people who didn't like the main game of Partners in Time to go and buy the game for a second time. You can clean up a bag of garbage as much as you want, but it's still a bag of garbage. And yes, Mario & Luigi Partners in Time is not that. That analogy probably wasn't so fair for that game, but still, you probably get what I mean when it comes to that. As many improvements as Nintendo had planned to add for Partners in Time, it probably still wouldn't have changed the overall experience, and definitely not for the lasting memory that it left on some people. Oh yeah, I'll just skip this one, maybe I'll wait till that Bowser's Inside Story remake comes out. Well, you're getting that even sooner now, because Nintendo has decided to skip Partners in Time. Nintendo is smart. They know that that game wasn't at the quality of Bowser's Inside Story. So while I believe that sales is definitely the bigger factor in why Nintendo rejected that game, the quality is definitely up there as well. Now, for more Mario videos, make sure to subscribe so that you do not miss them. Click that bell icon so that you'll get notified whenever I post a new one, and you'll get it right in your notification box. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you with more Nintendo content very soon.